Hi, my name is Rashanna Moss. I am owner of Pure Barre Austin in Houston, and my story will make you say, wow. I grew up in Houston, Texas, from a Catholic Creole family. So that created a culture that was very tight-knit, and a culture that was also very defined. Come from two parents that are very smart people. One is an architect, that's being my mom, and my dad is an offshore structural designer. So they're highly intelligent people, maybe even a little OCD, and then they had this child that was just energetic and a little wild and always jumping off the walls. So I think maybe that's why they put me in sports, is just so I could get rid of some of my energy some way, somehow. The way grad school affected me was the first time I had to work really hard, to the point that I was struggling to get through classes. And I had to apply myself in a way that was different and make it through a threshold that I didn't realize existed before. So it really gave me thick skin and an understanding of what it takes to actually get through something, even when it's not easy for you. It was very, very valuable. I was trying to look for a job, had an idea that I would get out of school making $75,000, and that was in 2005. But I had a degree of sports psychologist. Who's going to hire me? So looking for jobs, I was hit with the reality very quickly, understanding that a lot of people wanted to hire for like in the 30s, which I didn't know that was going to be the case. So it was definitely a reality check. And I ended up getting connections at Nike, and I was really lucky with that. Number one, learn as much as you can, and number two, be willing to pay your dues. To graduate school and immediately think that you know everything is really naive, honestly. There are people that have been doing it much longer, not to say that their perspective is necessarily the best or the one that you should take or that it's even for you, but you do need to stop for a second and understand what's going on. Try to get as much information and then maybe move to a different job based on that information, but don't jump to conclusions too quickly. Like, take your time and learn first. The paperwork doesn't tell you that you're going to make a mistake every day, and your staff's going to see it. And you have to be okay with making the mistake. You have to be okay with not taking yourself too seriously and understanding that all of those problems are to help you grow and help the business grow. So business, literally, I describe it as figuring out how to solve problems and make money while doing it, or remain profitable while doing it, because you have a problem almost every day. You do get concerned about something affecting your business, and it can be anything from a competitor to, a disgruntled client, anything like that. I'm glad that I have to face it so much now, because I think when you overcome it, you can just move forward a little bit more quickly and not make stories up in your head. So I've really worked on that. But yes, fear does exist, just not as much as before. I think the further along you get in business, you just kind of realize that, you know what, you'll figure it out. The biggest thing I've had to overcome is maintaining while my life is in shambles and people don't know it. The reality is I own a business, I've got a staff. That's how I live, and that's how the staff lives, and we're creating or providing a service that our clients love, and we're indebted to the community for that and for their support toward us. But going through something like a divorce and having to move 4 times and things like that, people don't see that any of that is going on, because you have to come in and you have to stay strong, because if you fall, the rest of your staff does also. So it may look like peaches and cream because your hair is done and your makeup is done and you're, dressed and have a smile on your face, but the reality is sometimes you are literally holding on by a thread. But it does build resilience. So regardless of your life feeling like it's in shambles and it being very difficult, you are building a skill that is valuable for the rest of your life. What was hard about going through that was holding it together so that the business could still move forward and the people around me still knew that everything was okay and going to be okay. And it was difficult because maybe there are times when you do want, or there were times when I did want to break, and did even just want to stop. but you can't when the business is moving forward or your staff needs you. And most people aren't okay with just saying, hey, it didn't work. Everyone wants to put a story to it. And that creates a lot of issues because it's difficult to explain. And for me personally, I wasn't willing to explain. I don't think it's anyone's business, nor if you even tell them, is that necessarily going to satisfy the story that they want to hear within themselves. So I think it's better to handle it with grace, give your ex-spouse the respect, also not bash them, and just do what you need to do based on the purpose and the soul that's moving you forward, and just don't worry about the rest. I'm so aggressive because of wanting to get somewhere, but when you can accept timing and push, and then when you get to a certain place, understand, hey, you're supposed to stop, just accept it. It's a great feeling because you know it's going to happen. It's not on your time.